Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Today we're unboxing and setting up the JUWEL Smart Feed 2.0 automatic fish feeder. A premium tool designed to make feeding your fish easier, more consistent and way more stress-free. Whether you want a more structured feeding routine, want to automate daily feedings, or you're getting ready to go on your next vacation, this little machine can save you a lot of time and worry. Let's get started with the unboxing. Compared to many other feeders I've reviewed in the past, the quality here is immediately noticeable, both in terms of packaging and in the materials used. Inside the box you'll find many items. First, when you open the box, you'll find a safety notice that you should definitely read, which I will of course ignore. Second, a very detailed quick start guide in multiple languages with big illustrations that make everything easy to follow. This is actually important and I read it closely. Then you'll find 4 fully charged lithium-ion batteries, which is super convenient because you can set everything up right away without having to charge anything first. Then, obviously, the SmartFeed 2.0 itself, a so-called feed chamber enlargement, which adds an additional 110 milliliters of food capacity, which is perfect if you go on a longer trip, and a heavy, high-quality cleaning brush. And finally, a second conveyor screw. There's a black conveyor screw, the one that is pre-installed, which is used for flake food, and we will use this one today. There's also this white one for granulated food, which makes sure that the granulated food doesn't get stuck. Laid out on the table, it might look like a lot of items, but don't worry. We're going through everything step by step and it's super easy and straightforward. First things first, the battery installation. To do that, we first have to unwrap the batteries, then flip over and open the battery compartment. There's a small notch you can press and the cover pops right off. Insert all 4 batteries, put the black lid back on, and that's it. You can also power the SmartFeed with a micro USB, but keep in mind that this cable is not included in the delivery here. Then you turn on the feeder. Press the on-off button once and you'll see 00.00 on the display. That means we need to set the current time. So now let's start with setting the time. First, you hold the set button for 2 seconds and you'll see the hour symbol flash in green. You can use the hour button to set the hours and use the minute button for setting the minutes. And here's a pro tip. You can hold the min button to speed it up. You don't need to click 30 times, for instance, to add half an hour. You just have to keep pressing it down and then the minutes will go up faster. Then you press set again to confirm, and in my case it's 7:23 AM, so that's what I'm entering here. And as you can see, I'm up super early. I put a lot of effort in these videos, so if you want, you can like this video, comment below and subscribe to my fish channel in order to support the channel. But let's continue with setting it up. So now I first want to explain the feeding interval. The Smart Feed lets you choose between 24 hours, that means it feeds every day at the time you choose, 48 hours, that means it feeds every 2 days, and 72 hours, that means it feeds every 3 days. This is great if you keep fish that don't need daily feeding or if you want to avoid overfeeding. How do we set up the feeding intervals? It's also quite easy. First, you press set and then the interval, so 24, starts flashing in this case. Use the min button, the minute button that we used before, to choose between 24 hours, 48 hours and 72 hours. I'm selecting 24 hours, so I'll confirm with set right away. That means that my fish will be fed daily. Next, the little feeding symbol for the first feeding time will start flashing, which brings us to the next step, setting the feeding times. Each day you can set up to 3 feeding slots. Let's set up feeding slot 1. You can use the hour and minute button to enter the time you want your fish to be fed. Then you can press the feed quantity button to choose how much food is released. There's, for instance, one small icon, which means a very small amount, or up to 5 or 6 icons for a rather large amount, and everything in between. Confirm the feed quantity with the button set. This automatically moves you to feeding slots 2 and 3, and you don't have to use them, but they are there if you want more than 1 feeding per day. Also, on a side note, there's a memory function. The SmartFeed 2.0 has a built-in memory. So if it turns off or loses power, your settings are saved and restored automatically when you turn it back on. This, however, according to the user's manual, doesn't work if it's turned off for a very long time. But if it's turned off for half a year, it's no problem at all. Now we can add the food. This part is actually super simple. Just open the hopper and pour in your flake or granulated food. As I said at the beginning, I'm using flake food today, so I just pour in the flakes. A funnel would help here, but I'm just pouring it straight in. Then I attach the feed chamber enlargement for extra capacity and use a little brush to clean up any spilled flakes. I personally wouldn't put in the flakes that were poured over. Let's do a manual feeding test run. To test it, you press the feed quantity button to choose how much food you want to drop, and then 5 seconds later, the feeder performs one feeding cycle. As you can see here, it works perfectly on the first try. The mechanism is smooth, reliable, and very quiet. And I would also recommend you guys to test the feeding quantity before, maybe on a table, just to get a feeling for the amount of food that falls out. This is highly individual for each tank and especially depends on the amount or number of fish you have. So I would recommend to test it before if you have the time. Now we can install it. First, I'll show you how to install it on a JUWEL tank. So if you have a JUWEL or JUWEL aquarium, the setup is incredibly easy. Just remove the small cover on your tank lid where the feeder is meant to sit, place the SmartFeed 2.0 on top of it, and you're done. I personally don't use the included mounting bracket. I've never needed it. And with one click on the manual feed button, the food drops straight into the tank. And my endless livebearers, amber tetras, and coolie loaches enjoy their breakfast. If you want to see how this tank evolved over 330 days, you can watch the full evolution video. Just click on the top right corner now. Then you also have the installation on any other kind of tank that doesn't have a dedicated lid. So if you don't have a JUWEL tank, don't worry. This feeder works on almost any aquarium. Just place it on a stable surface like the small glass support bars most aquariums already have, and make sure that the end of the conveyor screw is positioned over the water. And you're good to go. As you can see, my southern platyfish and my Apistogramma dwarf cichlids are already enjoying their morning meal. And before we end, I want to say a huge thank you to my channel members, Dottie, JP, Julius, and Belgian Bugs. Your support helps this channel grow and lets me keep making these videos. Thank you so much. If you want to see how I built a South America aquascape that was featured in the last sequence of this video, you can click on the full build guide on the right hand side or check out the last video that I uploaded to my channel on the left hand side. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.